It's quite an oxymoron for me to be making a video with a title like this because I have over 300 hours of playtime on Brigitte, and yet in this video I'm about to substantiate this very sentiment. Now you're gonna ask, if Brigitte is such a boring hero to play, then why are you playing her so much? Ever sat through one of those movies where you thought to yourself like, this couldn't get any worse, and then it got worse, then it became a matter of how much worse it could get, that it actually became good in its own right? When it comes to enjoying Brigitte, I believe there is that element of an acquired taste at play here. Although it doesn't mean there aren't some alarm bells to raise, and in this video I'm going to break down what exactly makes Brigitte such a boring hero to play. I'd like to revisit what the developers had originally intended for Brigitte. She was a melee-focused, mace-wielding tank support hybrid that could stay in the heat of a brawl. She could deny enemy engagements with her whip shots and her stun, or if her teammate is low, she could throw a repair pack and bam, they're back to full health and then more with armor. This was what the developers were trying to sell when it came to the fantasy of playing Brigitte, which is a cool concept, but how well does this concept hold up in the current day and age? Now, back on release, when Brigitte's barrier wasn't actually made out of a napkin, we do have to remember that this was the quote-unquote support hero who had a touch of death combo on Tracer. It's easy to attribute her release as to why Overwatch started to decline, especially once we bring the GOAT's meta into the picture. So, Blizzard reacted by nerfing her patch after patch after patch after patch, but never truly managing to bring down the power of the 3-3 composition in the Overwatch League. The solution was the 2-2-2 role queue system, but more importantly, this was when Brigitte went through her rework to be more heal focused and to fall in line with other supports in the new format. But the nerfs didn't stop there. We are now in the age of Overwatch 2. With all that said, let's review what Brigitte can currently do. As Brigitte, if you are looking to close the gaps, take some hits, get some hits in, you'll find out very quickly that she can no longer survive getting into close quarters. Her shield bash no longer stuns, that's completely gone. And repair pack no longer provides armor to her teammates, although there is one redeeming factor in all of this now that she has 3 repair packs rather than 1 and can do much more consistent healing for her team. But I am just utterly not convinced this is a great selling point for the hero. Imagine if Blizzard released a new trailer today for a new hero who wears a full suit of armor, carries a melee weapon, holds a barrier, and then decided, you know what? We're so excited to show you our ability to throw auto-aim heal packs to your teammates from halfway across the map. Let me reiterate, this is for a hero who screams
mace to the face!
Because in her current state, Brigitte has basically been relegated to a backline heal pack dispenser for the majority of any game. As it currently stands, this hero is a walking contradiction between her aesthetics and what she is actually capable of. It has been 3 years since her rework, and even so, I still get comments such as, now we can just blame the players for not doing their due diligence or not understanding the game well enough, but if this isn't a failure in conveying a hero's gameplay loop through visual design, then I don't know what is. And look, the fact that this fully armored, mace-wielding melee hero has less health than the cowboy with a gun spells out quite loudly the disconnect in the current design and balance philosophy. That said, there absolutely still is viability in what Brigitte has to offer. Full disclosure, I do not play competitive, so what I'm about to discuss is a general strategy that has personally worked out quite effectively for me. I currently have a 58% quick play win rate playing her as my go-to hero of choice. This is not a Brigitte guide video, so I will not be going in extensively on how to play Brigitte into every situation. So as it stands, there isn't much I do as Brigitte in order to win games. In fact, I kinda do nothing at all. This is my default state of play for 90% of most matches. Due to how vulnerable Brigitte is, there is zero incentive to initiate any engagements unless provoked. Now, some of you guys might flame me for this, but contrary to many pro recommendations, I do not hold my primary fire down by default, because I have lost count the number of times holding the barrier up by default has potentially saved me from getting Hanzoed out of nowhere, so that helps. Considering that repair packs aim themselves and I can just toss them as far as 30 meters away from my targets, and through enemy barriers for that matter, there really is no challenge to just shuffle in the back line and do my job. As long as there is line of sight, the only condition stopping a repair pack deployment is when it is on cooldown or when Brigitte is dead. Now, some of you guys might say there is a little bit of nuance involved in managing the cooldowns of the repair packs. I mean, they do run out eventually, but in my experience, the rate in which the packs are used is dictated more so by your team's ability to feed, not so much by Brigitte herself. So, in my opinion, it is akin to a passive masquerading as an ability on Brigitte's kit, because she is just simply not responsible for aiming, nor positioning, nor deciding how to manage her repair packs. And then, of course, there is Brigitte's official passive ability, Inspire, which is kinda like a budget Lucio healing aura. It does make up a significant portion of her total healing numbers, but it is usually not worth risking life and limb just to trigger a mere 15 healing per second, especially since repair packs do exist. So in the grand scheme of things, it really is just an added benefit where I would stand 20 meters rather than 30 meters in the backline so that I may trigger Inspire with my whip shots. The backline isn't totally safe, of course. I would say Brigitte isn't the most stress-inducing hero to play into flankers because she does have a third-person camera while holding her barrier up. So I do have a wider perspective of my surroundings. I might even catch a flanker off guard. Without her stun though, I can't always stop my other support from dying, but I can always provide incidental value to the team by staying alive myself and keeping Inspire active. Say in this example, I would boop the flanker away while triggering Inspire, then shield bash away from the flanker's effective range, and rinse repeat. Not the hardest hero to stay alive, as I would say. So to break down, as Brigitte, I generally would be never initiating any engagements, idling in the backline, keeping the barrier up by default and indefinitely, reactively sending auto-aim heal packs to injured allies, throwing some whip shots every 4 seconds to trigger Inspire. And you could argue this is the only point where I'm actually playing Overwatch. Surviving, of course. And last but not least, pressing Q to not generate armor. I want Blizzard to look in the mirror and answer this question honestly to themselves. If Brigitte had never been released back in Overwatch 1, and a new hero was pitched with these same exact gameplay qualities, will this new hero be able to sell on the current Battle Pass system? Are players willing to spend $10 to idle in the backline, holding up their napkin barrier up indefinitely, and while only actually getting to play Overwatch every 4 seconds? The crazy part about all of this, and I know how everything I just said made it seem like Brigitte is just this tragic monstrosity of a hero design, which it is, but it is just how effective, just how much I'm able to get away with, how much value I can bring to my team with what is essentially me not playing Overwatch, not putting in anywhere close to the amount of effort anyone else on my team is investing into the match. And I don't mean this from a pure aim or mechanical standpoint. Unlike Mercy, for example, whereby there are certain judgment calls with how much time there is to spend beaming each target and which beam to operate on. For Brigitte, once you understand the boundaries by which she operates within, once that clicks, it almost completely eliminates any active decision making you would have to engage in from that point on. So why am I a Brigitte main then? All I've done thus far is just non-stop roasting whatever it is that her gameplay loop has become. I mean, the general sentiment here is that Brigitte is a hero who essentially plays herself, and that the experience of playing Brigitte is like you're just a spectator in your own match. But then I really started to embrace and lean into that sentiment, and then I realized since I was just spectating, then why am I trying so hard to win games? No amount of extra effort and being frustrated at unwinnable games is going to influence the outcome of a match any more than the hero allows me to. And so I gave in. And playing Brigitte started being this very stress-free experience since I was no longer confined into this mentality of trying to win every game. I was just here to have a good time. It frames the Overwatch experience in a different light because now I'm no longer in the driver's seat. I'm just a passenger, and I'm observing my wins and losses as a reflection of how well the matchmaker is doing its job. With that said, I really do feel like a wizard because for every team that has me on their side, they're practically walking into every team fight with one less decision maker, and yet we're winning more games than we're losing in what could theoretically be considered a series of 4v5s, and I didn't even do anything, I just existed. It's not like I'm actively throwing the game by not actually playing Overwatch, because as Brigitte, if I did actually play Overwatch, I would be actively throwing the game. I mean, the win rates don't lie. It is genuinely astounding just how far I've managed to go winning game after game by simply not engaging in fights and AFKing in the backline as the melee support hero. Then it gets better, or worse, once the enemy starts to acknowledge the state of me just standing there and would go as far as to swap to Pharah to counter me like, excuse me? And then there's her voice lines, they're just golden. I mean, she keeps going on about how
I can protect you.
and then she eats one Hanzo arrow and be like,
Barrier won't hold much longer.
girl, you ain't protecting no one.